Yeah, we were just trash talking Doubt for a bit, so everything's good here.
Yeah, Dowd is the chicken lover, and we were just talking about it
Yeah.
because Zach obviously has visited him, and sharing some
Yeah, we
stories.
were saying that Doubt smokes so much shisha that even if he replaced the shisha with broccoli, he'd get fat.
Yes.
It's not a good situation.
No. So he literally smokes a lot.
All the time.
Always like that. It's
Well,
always like that. And I have to shoot back because every now and then I checked Talk of the Empire, and usually it's always been hitting on me. So now it's my turn to shoot back. So I have prepared everything.
Don't worry,
And,
Jordan. Everyone wants to hit on you.
Yeah, kind of. Just not the girls in Munich. But yeah, that's it. So yeah, I had also a discussion with the Tyrants before this show here, and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna, listen and watch." And I'm like, "Okay, I have to choose my word precisely and protectively." Then
this is your one shot. You've only got one shot. You got to make this one count. You got to get in all the digs and jabs that you can.
Okay, I feel the pressure, but I can handle.
Okay, it's cool. You got it.
So our guest today, JorDan23, obviously most people in the Age of Empires world would know you. Very famous for the Best of 21 series where the Viper and you were at your peak. When was that, like 2014-ish?
Yeah, it should be around 2014, April, something like that.
Okay, and you actually won him, which was quite an upset and like an epic battle. Not an upset maybe, but really showed how easily 11 to 10. And then a longtime member of the Tyrant family, you have been taking a break for a bit over a year now, I believe.
Yeah, it was 2 years.
Okay, 2 years break after WSVG 2015-ish, something like that. Yes. Came back last summer, and you were pretty sure to climb back into the World Elite. How did that go for you?
I'm still there, man. I'm still there. No, so regarding expectations, obviously thought it would be much easier. I was struggling initially a lot. I don't know, the game has changed a lot, so that was the biggest obstacle, I would say. Even now I'm in a state where I'm not like feeling super comfortable with the game, with Hollow Kingdom, so that's literally was the biggest obstacle, yes. And obviously, I also think that people have improved throughout the 2 years where I was gone, and you can really, while playing, you notice it. People have gotten faster, people have gotten smarter, and they have, one of my biggest edges in the past was that I was really good at optimizing the build orders, and that's something every 2K can do easily now, and that's something which makes it even harder now. So yeah, so in total it has not gone as good as expected, but I'm just back for 1 year, so I have 2 more months.
Yeah, I remember.
How are you finding the new civs?
It's so in general, the getting Hollow Kingdoms with all the new civs has revitalized everything. It is amazing that this was implemented. It is so great. And in the past it's always been like always 2-3 strategies all of the time. You didn't have to scout. People went for luring deer because you knew exactly what the opponent was doing, right? And you knew the meta 100%, and it was so boring. It was so boring, really. And now it has changed completely. People are still trying to figure out what is the best strategy for each map, right? And also in terms of maps have expanded as well. It's not only the standard maps now. We have so many more maps we play, and I feel also the tournament settings are different compared to in the past. In the past it was literally always the same stuff, and nowadays we try to mix it up. And I also think that overall the entire Age of Empires community has gotten more professional, and just from my own experience, it feels so much better compared to when I was really active and in my best shape. So yeah, I love it for sure.
Good stuff. So I remember you saying to me, Nili, in January set up a show match or a best of 21, me against Viper again, and that was when we met at Gamescom in August.
Yeah, I remember that.
How far away are you from really competing in a best of 21?
Do you recognize that I was a little drunk there?
Oh, that's his excuse. Right?
I think you weren't, honestly.
No,
I'm pretty sure there was only a Dr. Pepper in the fridge.
Yeah.
No, honestly, yeah, I remember that. That was the fun part. No, but obviously, how far am I away from that? So in terms of, because I'm kind of guy who likes to talk in percentages. So in terms of percentage, I would say I'm like 65% of what I used to be in the past. So, you know, you can imagine the gap is still big. That's for sure.
And how did
I didn't tell you January 2018, I think. It was 2019? I'm not sure.
it was 18? It was still 6 months.
Giving yourself an extra 6 months to go. So, I mean, it's still possible, right?
Yeah, totally. I like 2019. But yeah, that's how it is.
Okay, so well, I had a question, but I forgot it since I wanted to increase the volume on you guys. Okay.
I'll jump in real quick then.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I don't know, we didn't really cover this, but obviously we spoke about your break from Age of Empires 2. What was your reason for leaving, and what was your reason for coming back?
So, well, yeah, main reason I would say was the girlfriend I used to have in the past. You know, I always wanted to, and also when I was at finishing my bachelor's degree, I had spent more time in studying and not so much more into playing Age of Empires. But still, I was, you know, active. I played. And it was important that, you know, just playing a few games per week will help me to keep my shape. And then I got my girlfriend, or my ex-girlfriend, and you know, I wanted to focus on different things in life, and she was also, you know, a person who didn't really like the gaming part at all. So I had to make a decision, you know, go for the gaming or go for a potential woman which where you spend the whole life with. So I went for the decision to stop playing Age of Empires, to focus fully on my career, finish my master's degrees, and you know, focus fully on career and stuff. And
well, that's a mistake you won't make again.
Exactly. So, you know, life brings you a lot of experiences, and yeah, that's how it is.
Of course.
Yeah, so that's, I would say, was the main reason. It has, you know, it had very positive things, no question about it, but also negative ones, because I missed out a great area of, you know, or era for 2 years of Age of Empires, and a lot has changed throughout those 2 years. So that's unfortunate, obviously, and also, yeah, my skill level dropping dramatically. So okay, but that's how it is. And what brought me back was, you know, Viper was visiting me for 1 week when my daughter got her, God, how's it called? Baptism?
Christening?
Yes, baptism, yeah. And
That's
you know,
right.
as he's the godfather, he was visiting me for 1 week, and we were talking a lot about how he's doing in Age of Empires, how the community and the overall game is doing in Age of Empires. And you know, just by listening to him, I was like, shit, I want to do that as well, right? I want to, you know, be part of that experience. And he was telling me about streaming, and I was like, streaming would be also a good thing for me, because, you know, I like to talk and to entertain people, and I felt like that could be a good opportunity. And if I don't do it now, I won't ever do it, right? And you don't want to have situations in your life where you would say, I regret because I did not do this or this. And that's when I was saying, okay, I have to go for that.
Cool, good answer. Nili, did you have your question?
Yeah, so 65% at the moment.
Yeah.
What is the main limiting factor for you at the moment? Is it time?
No,
or
motivation.
Motivation?
Yeah, I mean, everyone on this world has 24 hours. So time is for me never an excuse. It's just the motivation part. You know, people, I don't know, like, of course I have work, but I would never use that as an excuse, because after work I still, in theory, would have enough time to get myself into perfect shape. But, you know, then I would have to cut the the things which are very important for me in life, and I'm like not willing to cut that. So especially in summer, it's always hard for me to sit in front of the computer if the sun is shining, and I have the opportunity to play basketball, do sports, and meet up with friends. So it's literally the motivation, to be honest.
Interesting. Do you think it's harder to get the motivation as well because you're not in the same position you were when you left? Do you think if you were still at the top where you were before your break, you'd feel more motivated?
That's a good question. I'm not really able to answer that one because I literally don't know. I think one of the biggest things which kind of hinders my motivation is because my life has changed so drastically, right? So
right.
Just with the job, you just have a different focus, because I realized, okay, when I play a lot for my standards, then usually the day after at work, I'm not as sharp as, I would like to be. And it is also very demanding on the brain, right? I work as a kind of IT guy. So I sit in front of the computer for 8.5 hours, and I have to really perform a lot of thinking. And then that's already draining. And then you come home, you play Age of Empires, which is also very draining if you play on a very high level, which I sometimes do. And yeah, literally 12, 13 hours per day, where it's very literally, like very, very draining in terms of, thinking. And you have to find the balance. And luckily, I'm not that kind of guy who needs a lot of practice to be in shape, because I know how my body works. I know what is the most important thing for me. But still, I need certain amount of practice, yes, which I try to get now for the next 2 upcoming events.
Yeah, I think you have a good philosophy and a good mindset, and I think it's completely understandable and reasonable. Like you say, your life has changed so much. You have a daughter now. You're obviously working. You don't have so much free time, and I think you say everyone has 24 hours, but compared to people like Viper who are playing Age of Empires for a living, obviously it's a different story, right? You're not in the position to spend that much time playing the game.
Yes, but also to add it, I am there and Viper is there because, we both have made decisions in life. So, after you have done your decisions, you can always say, yeah, this was good or this was bad. But I'm not that kind of person who would something like that in as excuse, because, Viper committed and it's working out perfectly for him. It could have also gone the other way, that it doesn't work out for him then, right? So then people would say, hey, why didn't you do, I don't know, studies or something?
You're right. I think Viper took a risk when he started streaming so much, because the game has grown so much since that point.
Exactly. So, and if you think about people who have really achieved, like, for example, financial success, they will always tell you have to take risks, right? If you stay in your comfort zone, you won't ever be successful or something. So that's the difference, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah, it's been strangely motivational and inspirational so far.
And never give up.
Never give up.
Yes.
Yeah, but obviously that's always what the people at the top are telling you, right? We all know like 95% of startups fail, and no one goes to them like, why did it fail? And they're like, I took a risk. So, yeah.
True. But at least, you're in the position to fail. If you don't take the risk in the first place, you're never even going to fail. And usually it's your failures which lead to your success.
Yeah.
Oh. Wasn't like Elon Musk had 3 startups that didn't really work out? And then later, PayPal. I believe, he had PayPal, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Usually it's always like that. When you're trying something new, you won't, or in very rare cases, you will be successful instantly. Usually you fail 3, 4, 5, I don't know how many times. And throughout that process, you learn from it, right? And then if you start new, you will try to make, it better. Depends on your duration, I would say.
Yeah. So, Nearly, I noticed that before this talk of the Empire, you've got multiple counters on your stream. One of them being number of motivational speeches. I think you could maybe increment that by 1. We've got your back, bro.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thanks. Doesn't have to be by me. It's just stream. Okay.
Yeah, just in general.
Okay. Let's change it.
Cool. Do you have more questions for JorDan? Because I have one, if not.
Go ahead.
Okay, so JorDan, you said before that your strength in AOC was optimization of build orders and sort of perfecting that.
Yes.
Don't you feel like that would give you an edge in the current, metagame and the current situation of the game where we have these new civs? There's certainly situations where a couple of Excel spreadsheets could help you out.
Well, the issue is the builders have changed a lot with the new civs, and to learn all of them, you need to invest the time to practice them, first of all. And that's something which I'm currently not doing so much. And also, on the other side, people have been so good at having very good build orders. So, it's very hard now for me to get an edge over there. And also, one of my strengths was also, the execution of micro and macro. And I feel like, I know maybe it's because I don't play on my highest level like in the past, but I feel like I never really have an edge there compared to the other players. So,
okay.
Yeah, I know it's still hard for me to really judge. Okay, it would only be possible when I reach my 100%. Then I would be able to say, hey, what was I talking when I was 65%? Right? This is easy, right?
Yeah.
35% to go.
Yeah, and I feel like there are a lot of civs that really haven't been figured out yet.
Yes.
So many people not really knowing how melee works. I think Khmer bonuses aren't really abused. It just feels like no one is really sitting down and just doing the real math and trying to play to full potential. Most of them don't really want to, don't have the time, and some at the top don't see the necessity to do it.
Exactly.
I think it's a matter of time, right? Over time, things develop and become more optimized.
Exactly. And I totally agree with you. And for example, just as a reference, let's for example say StarCraft, okay? A game which is really handled professionally. A lot of players play it and on a super, super competitive high level. And even there, you see after 2 or 3 years, people are still, optimizing strategies, optimizing build orders, where you would say, these guys invest so much time, much more compared to Age of Empires players. And still, after 2-3 years, they are still figuring out stuff. So in Age of Empires, this will take 5 years until we really can say, okay, this is really the best thing. It will take time.
Yeah, it's developing. Just think about what happened in all the last 3-4 years, how the micro has changed, the civilizations approaches, the team game meta has completely changed. We went to team war, we went over professional slinging, the civ abuse is so much better. People know how to play flank, pocket. It's just ridiculous how if you we're at top level 2012. The other day I played some Baltic practice games and I had a 10-minute, 4 seconds uptime. And I was just like, that's not competitive now. And then I felt sick. In 2011, I would have been the best Baltic player in the world.
Yes, exactly. And now if you're up 5 seconds too late, I don't have too much experience in Volo Kingdoms Water, to be honest. I've played 2 or 3 games, but I remember in the past when I had those super crazy Grush games against, for example, Viper. If you're 2 seconds too late, you're done, literally, because he will always have the edge, right? And it was really, especially on water maps, it was the craziest thing.
So JorDan, what is your goal in Age of Empires 2? You say you've not got much motivation right now, but what is your goal?
Try to participate in as many events as possible. Try to be a big part of the community. Try to also provide some knowledge, some entertainment. That's very important for me. I love entertaining. I wanna see positive feedback from the people, to hear okay they are enjoying it. That's always something which I appreciate and I personally enjoy. And obviously, I haven't completely, given up in terms of being, let's say, top 5. I've not given up on that hope yet. but I obviously know I have to change a lot in terms to achieve that. So, you know, you never see, you never know what's coming in the future. Having big tournaments like, for example, ECL or Lily's Apartment Cup, which is also super nice. You know, things like that really, really, you know, ignite my inner fire, so to say. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Will you try to stream more in the future again? Because like 3 weeks ago, you had a week where you streamed every single day, and now it kind of 2 weeks it was really quiet about you.
You know, it's easy to stream more often than what I did the last 2-3 weeks. But yeah, definitely. I just currently I know a few aspects in my life I have to tickle right now, or not tickle. How do you say?
Address.
Tweak.
Okay.
And just for my mental state. And after I've done that, then I can, you know, focus on gaming part. Because if my mental state is not good, then I will play like a 2K, for example, right? So noobish. And no, I was really focusing hard on, you know, a lot of things have gone very bad in my life the last months. So I have to, you know, rebuild everything, get a good environment again. And I'm really successful in that regard, but I want a bit more. And of course, the streaming part, it has to be more. I know that. Even feeling sorry for all my supporters that I'm so inactive the last 3 weeks, and I really want to apologize for that. But I hope you guys understand that. And also, I know that the next months will be very Age of Empires intensive because we have the tournament coming up, the ECL, which is, you know, for 1 year, and I want to be committed in this one. So I know this would be literally the last time where I can really cool off until I really have to step it up big. So yeah, I took advantage of that time.
Okay, speaking of ECL, well, you said it's like a very big tournament, super excited. It was obviously quite an easy qualification for you. What a
yeah,
Go
easy,
ahead.
right?
Go ahead.
like what are your overall goals? Obviously, Tyrant is the #1 favorite to take the whole thing, to go to the offline finals. But go more a bit into detail. Do you want to win a 1v1 tournament? Do you want to win a 2v2 tournament, or what? Go ahead.
I want to win a 2v2 tournament without after the last game I played with him. Did you see that, by the way? Oh god, that was awful.
Oh no, I didn't see the qualifiers.
Yeah, luckily. But anyway, so overall goal of myself and obviously for the other Tyrants is to get to the offline event, because LAN in Age of Empires is so tremendously nice, really. So it's a huge event, and we obviously set that as our goal. Being first is then the, you know, subsidiary goal, so to say, which we want to achieve. And regarding 1v1, so I just want, like, my goal is to perform on a very high level, to be able to contribute to the team, to be, you know, in terms of strategy development or also giving the results. I want to practice a lot, especially with other teammates, because, you know, I know they are all very, very committed, and I don't want to disappoint them in that regard, because I know how that feels in the past without. Thank you. And also, you know, just overall provide a very, very good performance.
Right. And how much do you think you're going to be playing in the ECL? Do you think that you'll be sort of giving way to doubt more often, or I mean, where do you see your role in the team?
Excellent. No, like literally. So this depends a lot on the state of each player. Currently, obviously, I would be the 5th. No question about that. But you never know. Like in 2 months, it could be drastically different, and then I would participate more. But we will just do it like that. What is the state of each player? What are his strengths? And what are the settings? And then we will apply the best possible to what is coming up. And yeah, well, obviously, yeah, I will try to participate in as many games as possible, not only in the background with Excel.
Right. I mean, obviously, you want to play as much as you can on the tournament level if you know that's what is really motivating you here. Do you think you'll be able to put the time in now that the events are starting to work on yourself and improve yourself?
Yes, definitely.
Cool.
Actually, I'm kind of working on that myself already, just not by playing, but as I talked already about the physical state, and that is the most important part for me. For example, I remember when I had how's it called? The tournament, the one we won, Clash of Titans, I think, where I had super good performance.
Where you played Viper but got second?
Yeah, thank you. I have not lost one single game, but still went second. But so literally at that point of time, I've played so little, maybe 2 games a week, right? So for me, it's not about the amount of playing time, but it's more about the physical state, psychological.
Yeah, sure.
You guys know what I mean.
Yeah.
We get you.
English.
And I think I personally would be so motivated going into without Viper Tato talking strategies, and if they train, you won't do that, or why are you laughing?
No, I'm laughing because you were mentioning Dowd's name first.
Okay.
Wow, this rivalry is really something.
You should really see the 2v2 first, and then we talk again.
Well, I think we will cast that on Saturday, I assume. Or
yeah,
Sunday.
we're going to be covering that, of course.
Yeah, but go ahead, Lily.
I think the motivation will come, especially if the limiting factors are getting your life together, what you're doing, and summer is over, maybe you're watching a lot of World Cup. Because the fan community is still huge, you're hugely in favor of the JorDan 23, and yeah, I'm excited to see what you can do there in ECL, and I'm already showing the 8 teams that will qualify or will play the big tournament there. JorDan, what do you think? Who is the teams that kind of will finish 7, 6, 8, and who will try to compete for the finals with you?
Finals, I honestly think it will be AM and Tyrant.
Mm-hmm.
Then 3rd place, that's a tough one. I see the Brazilian team very far ahead. Also, Finnish team is super, super strong. I love their team play, really. They are amazing, and I think they can pull it off. They are also investing a lot of time, especially the Max is a very, very great player. So a lot of potential there.
Well, a note real quick about the LOS team is that they brought in Spaden and Mentalist, right?
Yeah.
Because Dugao is actually going to Malta later in the year, and he won't be able to play.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, I mean, I saw Fiage on Vubli earlier, and I'm wondering why someone like Fiage or Stark is not in the team, since Stark joined up with VNA, right?
Yeah. I honestly have no idea. I was also surprised to, Stark not being part of their team. I honestly don't have any information there if they had some, problems. So I don't know, really. And as far as I know, Fiage is not really active. So I guess they wanted to, build up a team from all the players where they know, okay, these are going to be active for sure. And also, one team which deserves a mention here is also SY. So I'm pretty sure they will also perform very well. So I see those 5 teams up in the top 5, to be honest.
Yeah.
What about
interesting? Do you think the
Frantic?
format of... sorry, Nilly, go ahead.
What about Frantic, JorDan? Because rating-wise, they would be pretty sick there as well, right? Vivi with Tim, they will perform well in the 1v1s and 2v2s, I feel.
But in Boa, they completely underperformed.
Well, that was without Vivi.
Yeah, I know, but Vivi is this kind of YOLO guy, and YOLO can work very well in 1v1, but in team game, can be more suicidal for the team. So I don't see this as a benefit at all. I even see that more as a downside of gameplay. And in overall, Stray Dog is YOLO number 2, so they have the best combination there. So
well, I think actually Straight Dog was removed
he
from.
Was, he was playing with Aris, right?
Oh, he was removed?
Yeah, sorry. No, he wasn't removed. Someone's joined. It's on AoE Zone. Yinghua has joined up with one of the teams because he was in one of the other teams, right?
Yeah.
And he's joined one of the top teams. Let me find the post real quick. I'll confirm that.
Was like, oh.
Yeah, Jinghua was playing for Ares as well. SY wanted to play with him, but they said, okay, we want to like seriously practice. We want to go into very good games, and he said like, yeah, I won't have the real commitment. I can't train that much. And then they said, okay, we'll try to play without you. So I would be surprised if Jinghua now comes back to SY. But
let me find the registration post and we can
Jinghua
confirm
joined
it.
SY. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Jinghua has joined SY, replacing 23. So it wasn't Stray Dog, my bad, but it was number 23 replacing. Interesting that he replaced him. Obviously, they're a full roster, so they have to shove someone out, I guess. Poor guy.
Yeah.
Well, was it really an option that number 23 would play?
I didn't see it because he was not active at all. At least as far as I knew.
So it's interesting. I mean, we had 3 Chinese teams attempting to qualify. Obviously, 2 got through. And now we've got this kind of roster shuffle, which could continue through the year as well. Obviously, there was a bit of drama with VV earlier in the year after the Boa performance. And with this setup that we have in this tournament, players can leave and join other teams during the event. So there could be something to watch for there as well.
Exactly. So, yeah, it will be very interesting how it all shapes out. But overall, ECL, just look at the handbook, man. It's just so freaking good professional. So
thank you.
Perfect approach. Seriously.
I spent a long time on that.
I imagine, and you and your team are just doing awesome work. So really big shout out to you guys. You've done it. I'm really flabbergasted here, to be honest.
Cool. Well, I'm sure there's more great stuff to come as well. And it wouldn't be a talk of the Empire without an announcement of an announcement. So here you go. It's happening. There's going to be an announcement soon.
Soon, damn.
Of what?
Of cool things. I mean, I can't get into details right now.
Okay.
Just got to tease you all some more.
Zach, you always do that.
Because last time I was doing this, we were like teasing ECL, right? Yeah. So it's gonna be good.
Okay. Let me know when I have to get the drum bells.
Sure.
Okay, we're talking of roster changes. JorDan, any wild predictions? Will we see any roster changes throughout the whole year in either Tyrant, Aftermath, or Brazil?
If I see something, then it would be in Brazil. There I could see it. In AM, I don't see anything happening. In Tyrant as well. So only Brazil.
AM could pick someone up like Hira. They're only.
You're laughing about it yourself.
No, they're only 4.
It's not gonna happen.
They're only 4 persons, right? So 4 players over 1 year. I know that all of them are quite young, not too many responsibilities. But I wouldn't be surprised if MBL's parents are saying okay, you have to go to school again or university or whatever, and
he's out of control. That's not going to happen.
Okay. As far as I know, he's doing something for university, isn't he? But anyway, coming back to your point, I don't see this happening because maybe if something unplanned happens, but I see all 4 of them having the potential to play very, very actively throughout the next year, really. So I don't see anything happening there.
Right. Right now, Hira is with coaches as well, so he's already in the event. It's just whether or not he wants to jump ship to a better team, let's say, on paper.
Oh boy, did he play well against Alliance. They had a Arabia game. Hallelujah. That was a strong performance.
Well,
Hera
we'll be covering that.
Strong. Hera is super, super strong.
Yeah.
So, definitely one of the stronger players out there.
Yeah, and he's another one of those players that's a bit younger as well, like Lyri. He had a little break, I think, last year, and he came back and he's still on good form. So I expect to see good things from him if he continues to sort of I mean, I don't know how much we should look into this, but let's say the attitude, right? If he can keep his cool and focus properly, I think he'll be a great player. Well, he already is, but even better.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah.
I would be surprised if coaches stays together for the whole year. Like I know.
Well, I mean, they're going to have to sort of stay together, right? Because it's the team that has the position in the league. So
it can easily happen that one player is the team and takes new 5 players, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's up to them how they want to do it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, team politics are team politics, and it has nothing to do with us. If they decide that they're going to kick 3 players and add 3 more, then that's just the way it is.
Coaches is the team with Eddie Hera, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Correct. Yeah.
The brothers Lan and Spring.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure how good their relationship is within the team. So.
Well, they trained a lot. That felt pretty productive, I have to say. Actually, NC trained quite a bit with them. Obviously, time zone differences. Yeah. Like the brothers only have very specific times in a day where they can play. Eddie can play every day. But yeah, having 2 Americans doesn't really help. So,
Yeah, exactly. But don't the brothers also live in America?
No, in Ireland, right?
Well, I think they moved to America. They played for the US in one of the nation's cups, right? Because they have a dual passport.
Yeah. But yeah.
But I think they're in Ireland now, because I remember Robo visited them in Ireland last time he was here, which was when? January time?
I think so as well. They live in USA. Yeah. Sick, I didn't know that.
Well, I mean, how did Robo... I mean, it must have been a coincidence that they were in Ireland at the time.
Okay.
Because Robo definitely visited them in Ireland, and that was about 6 months ago, I think.
Yeah, January. They live in Ireland. I think they live in
So
Ireland.
they live in Ireland now. Okay, they were definitely in the USA for a while, though.
Yeah,
that's something what I've read. Yeah, not too sure about that. I don't know.
Chat going crazy over that one.
Fake news.
Talk of the Empire. What is this? They don't know shit.
JorDan spreading fake news. What the hell?
Yeah, so any other ECL topics? I think I wanted to say, what do you think, JorDan, about the format, the fact that we have different civ pools and map pools as the event goes by?
Very, very original, I have to say. That's what I love also about the Volvo Kingdoms era, because the tournaments are so much more versatile now, and you have to put in so much thinking into, the upcoming matches. Which is also very, very hard. People maybe don't see that, but like, for example, in BOA, we have invested so much time into planning the strategies, and same will go for this ECL event. And coming back to the question, I think it's very nice, very, very great.
Okay, so do you think other teams put as much preparation in as Tyrant? And if they did put more preparation in, do you think they'd have a better chance?
Second part of your question, yes, always. And first question, I think AM will put a lot of time into it. VNS as well. Finland as well. Brazil, I don't think so. Just from my personal feeling. Who else do we have there? SY, I think they will also put a lot of thinking into that. But yeah, most teams will definitely put a lot of thinking into that, yes.
I'm a bit scared for VNS. Honestly,
why?
I don't see them having constant 3-3 or 4v4 training. I don't see them like 2 individuals 2v2 teams training a lot. So,
well, I don't know. I'm pretty sure they will play a lot with Chinese teams because they literally have the same time zone. And don't underestimate the Vietnam guys. Sometimes they go even asleep after me, so they go crazy, really. Oh dear.
That's so
10 p.m. I go sleep and this guy's still playing. I'm like, what?
God, I still feel bad. My second last tournament elimination note was let your teammate die, and I had SY in the finals, and it started, I believe, like 19 GMT.
Yeah.
Which is obviously, since they are GMT +8. pretty damn late, and it lasted like 4.5 hours. So they
So
like
late.
didn't sleep at all,
7:30.
and instantly like 8 a.m. in the morning for them, and they instantly went to work.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
And,
Awesome. Sometimes in life you need those kind of days
and
to appreciate sleep.
it was like $200 per second. So like everyone gets $70 for like an all-nighter.
Well, in Vietnam, I mean, $70 can go a long way. So, I mean, they obviously think it's worthwhile. But yeah, I think you're right. I mean, everyone's had those moments in their life where they've had these situations and done some crazy all-nighter and then had to go to work the next day, you know?
Yeah, talking about commitment. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, what are you most excited about, ACL, Jordan?
The LAN finals.
Okay.
I've always, if it's about finals or not finals, but about LAN, man, I'm living for that stuff. It's just awesome. I love it.
Okay. Will you go there even if Tyrant won't qualify?
Depends where it is, but I heard rumors Europe. Then
Why do you say that, Nilly?
Because that's what you said.
No.
Zach, why do you say that?
Okay.
I said probably.
Oh, probably Europe then. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought
Yes,
last Talk of the Empire you said Europe.
Yeah, no, I said may or may not be in America. I said nothing. Because may or may not, it could be or it couldn't be.
Okay. Well,
what are you talking about then?
Well, Earth. Can we get
Okay. Then
the situation right now is that there is no LAN location, and that's why I haven't said where it's going to be. It could be in the US, it could be in Europe. It's not going to be in South America, and it's not going to be in Asia.
Okay.
But that's all we have right now.
I think I have a good location for you in Germany, but we can talk about that while you're here in Hamburg.
Well, that's not anything to do with. Well, I guess it's something to do with us, but it's not Escape Gaming who are organizing the venue.
Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay. Not in my apartment.
ECL in Nilly's apartment.
Oh no, that's not going to happen.
Oh man! But what are you guys more excited about in regards of ECL?
Oh, flipping the script here.
That people will care, because you know, like that's it. Really broke my heart to see the Escape, like the Gamescom tournament, Doubt not qualifying, NBL heavily underprepared, the qualifiers very little training, Battle of Africa finals, AM didn't trade for the finals, Clan Masters the final showdown, Tyrant drank all night long, played so bad for their like potential. And I think in ECL, there's finally so much prestige on the line that everyone will get so much more intense, and that's what's tickling me, Jordan.
Yes.
It's tickling. It's floating your boat. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's right now. It's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of different moving parts, right? Like there's the actual format of the tournament, which I'm excited to see how it unfolds because it's quite unique, I think. But then there's all this stuff happening outside of the game. I'm personally really excited to unveil the new stream overlays and all of the new technical advances that we're making with the streaming, because I think people are going to appreciate that. And for me, I want the viewers to be amazed and wowed by what we can actually do and offer.
Yeah, and I'm also very excited about the exposure of the event. How many people, like new people, can we reach? How many new people will come to the game? I think it's going to be tremendously good. So that's also something I'm really excited about, like the expansion of the game.
Yeah, and I can tell you there's going to be a lot of exposure on the game that we've never had before.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And, yeah, it's not going to be there from the qualification stream because we're not promoting the qualification stream. But from the first round onwards, I'm expecting to see a lot of new eyes, a lot of new exposure to the game in other areas.
You should have some promotion of my 2v2 with Doubt. That would be good. Okay.
Maybe you want to talk about the stream this upcoming weekend, Zach?
Oh yeah, so we're going to be doing a highlight stream. Obviously, it's a bit different in the for the qualification because some people have streamed their POVs, some people have cast the games live, but we're going to be taking the best games from the qualification, and we're going to be doing basically like a warm-up stream, a practice stream on the 30th of June and the 1st of July, covering the highlights of qualification. So it's going to be some games that people have seen before. But it's really just a way for us to get grounded and put some practice in, I suppose. And that's obviously on the Escape AoE channel. If you're not following it, twitch.tv/Escape AoE. That's my sellout, and that's where all the ECL will be streamed for the rest of the event.
Make sure to follow, like, and subscribe. Okay, so. Any other topics we want to mention about ECL? Is a year maybe too long, JorDan?
The way the tournament is set up, I would say no. But if the setup would be different, then I would say yes. So I think that was, strategically very, very well done. So, with that setup, players are committed to this tournament because they are not playing for just 1 or 2 months. They are playing for entire year, try to perform well, to gather points, to finally reach the goal of being a part of this final event, the LAN, right? So people have motivation there, and you every now and then you're able to take a little break, and there's also a mix of settings and stuff like that, of maps, of civs. So the way it is right now, I would say yes, it is fine in terms of duration.
I think there's enough variety, and there's enough sort of opportunities as well for play. Like the motivation is there throughout the whole year, right? Because each event is prized. So I see this as being like a schedule of 14 tournaments rather than one big tournament. The only difference being that the players are scoring points as they go for the bigger event at the end.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, players who are low down in the, just to answer a question in the chat there, or a point in the chat, players who are lower down in the score table will still be motivated because they only have to win their first round game to enter into the money, right? And not to say that money is the ultimate motivating factor, but it certainly helps. And they can always go and win an event, even if they can't have a chance at getting to the grand final. And that's still worth the prestige and worth the prize money as well.
Money can be a super nice motivation. That's for sure.
Sweet stuff. And a lot of people questioned that we only had one qualifier. Do you feel we can get bored of the same 8 teams in 14 different tournaments?
Go on, Jordy.
Yeah, that's a tricky one. Honestly, I might see the possibility of people getting bored by that, yes. But as far as I know, in most sports, you always have certain teams, certain players who dominate the sport for a certain amount of period. Like, could be 5 years, could be 10 years. And we kind of have the same thing in Age of Empires. And I think the most important thing we must not forget is we have, new players already reaching the high level, right? So when I was active 2 years or 3 years ago, we had certain people who were playing well, but not as good as they are now, for example, MBL, okay? And there are even more players trying to achieve better and better things. And right now, there are also players we don't have on the radar, but they are also improving. And I think it's a slow process, but people are getting better and better over time. And the more we expose this game, the more players will be, willing to commit here again. And I think people will also realize with this event now, okay, there's also, big support from all, big companies like Microsoft to still put money into the game. And that also will help, that people will be motivated to improve themselves, to be part of this competition. And that's why I think in the next 1 or 2 years, we will see new players coming up.
Yeah. And for my answer there, Nili, I'm a big fan of Formula One. And this event is kind of inspired by the Grand Prix. That's where the format inspiration came from. And I've been watching Lewis Hamilton dominate in Formula One for the last 5 or 6 years now. But it's still entertaining and he's still there. But it's every race is drama. And I think that every event will be drama. I think every event has its opportunity for an upset. Every event has its different settings, different formats. And we'll see players and teams developing throughout the year.
My 2 thoughts. If I do a show match today of Viper against Tato, and it has 100 viewers, and I do a show match tomorrow, Viper against Tato, it will have 95 viewers. If I do a show match tomorrow, Velise against Paladin, it will have 40 viewers. I think people aren't getting really fed up of always seeing the Viper play, always seeing the best players play. And it's also 8 teams. You will not face each other. It's not like that we will see like Viper against Leary 4 times. It's like only one scenario where they can ever face off, right? In the whole year. In the 1v1s.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of different combinations.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's why the tournament is just so great. Because, it's unpredictable. You don't know who you're facing. You just don't know it.
Second thought, I disagree with JorDan when it comes to that this tournament alone will get a lot of like second wave players. I believe like, for example, the team that had great players that didn't qualify, Alliance or Aris. I think they are kind of getting the wind out of their sails when it comes to really performing, really putting the pressure, because like everyone wants to train the specific settings, and it will like people will host. I don't know, like Baltics, Saracens War, because it will be the settings in ECL. And why would you ever play this if you are not in ECL? So I feel like the number 50 to number 200 won't increase that high, and I think we will get a higher gap in everyone who plays ECL and everyone who doesn't play ECL.
Well, Nili, I'll tell you, I'm planning right now to make a second league. Like not like a serious like big league, but something that is only open for people who haven't qualified to the ECL, and run that in parallel with it. Maybe using Fridays, maybe using sort of midweek times. But that would be the ideal, right? To have something to still keep those guys interested and motivated, and keep them competitive, so that maybe they'll get promoted into the big league eventually as well.
But then again, you will have an edge where players won't make it to the second league. And then those guys, there's a likelihood.
Yeah, there's a cutoff point eventually, right?
Exactly.
Obviously.
So, exactly. I totally agree with your point. I see this very hard because you need to make the, cut somewhere. And this also depends a lot on the personality of somebody. If he is demotivated by not achieving, reaching the top 8, then he most likely won't ever be able to achieve very, very high quality of Age of Empires, because he has this giving up attitude, right? And this one won't give excellence. And, either you say, okay, shit, I have not made it, I can't be bothered. Or you would say, okay, next year something else will come up and I will qualify for that, right? So there are 2 different ways of looking at it.
Yeah.
And I
agree.
Yeah, go ahead, Zach.
I was just going to say, I think that because this event is so long, it does kind of zone out those top players for a longer period of time. And we did get some criticism about sort of choking up the calendar, and I disagree with that criticism. I think that there is plenty of free time in the calendar for other events, shorter events perhaps, events that are scheduled for Fridays, for example, or even Sundays, since most of the ECL, or 90% of it, is covered on Saturdays only. So I would like to sort of see this sort of secondary league coming up. At the moment, it's sort of in early stages of planning. It's not ready to be announced. It's kind of been announced, I suppose, but it needs developing basically before it's ready to go. but it's just an idea.
Great. And I personally feel like the ECL isn't really there to grow new players. I like the dreamer that I am, and I don't have any inside info. I'm feeling like the 1-year tournament, AoE2DE, and a major tournament from Microsoft going with it. And then we are moving towards the way of being a big esport, boys.
Yeah, I see the likelihood of this. Yeah.
But even
It's
then,
really making the field.
the top 50, it will be so tough to make the jump.
Yeah.
I think it will stay the same circle there.
My goal when I started sort of entering into the community like 2011, I saw StarCraft 2. That's kind of what motivated me to get into Age of Empires 2 and do something like tournaments, YouTube, bring exposure to the game. That was the motivation, because I was seeing what was happening in StarCraft, and I thought, well, why can't we have this in Age 2? And I think after taking a year out of Age 2 and being in big, real esports, you know, those that don't know.
Are you calling Age of Empires no real esports?
I'm not. Fledgling esport. Okay, just to please Nilly. But when I took that year out and I ran a Dota team that went to the International 6, which is one of the biggest esports tournaments in the world, and I ran a CS:GO team that was tier 2 and were competing regularly, I saw a lot of things. I met a lot of people, and I had a lot of conversations. And then coming back to Age of Empires 2, that knowledge and those connections have been really valuable. And I think if we want Age of Empires 2 to grow as a competitive game, we need to have some kind of regular tournament schedule. You look at any sport, any esport, and you have that system in place. And I think that's what we need. And I can tell you that that has already paid off, and the league hasn't even started yet with some of the things that are happening behind the scenes.
So I really like that approach.
So you're right, Nilly. I mean, this league isn't about growing the potential future stars. It's about fostering a competitive scene that actually has some consistency and reliability that can be a foundation and a building block which we can build on going forward. And then everything else can sort of fall in place behind it, I hope.
That's what everyone is hoping, right? Who loves Age of Empires.
Yeah. Yeah. And as T-West said, we had an amazing Hearthstone player as well who won the spring, whatever it's called. I don't follow Hearthstone that well. I wasn't really managing that, but okay.
Okay, so ECL, everyone super excited. 60k tournament, maybe even more if you give some monies to those Silver League players. And obviously offline finals, everyone's super excited. Then I'd say let's move over to NAC.
Oh.
And Jordan, you're already smiling.
Oh,
Give me your thoughts on that one.
I'm looking forward so much to that. You can't imagine.
I can't imagine.
You can't, or you can?
I can't. If you say I can't imagine, then I can't.
Well, I say what you can't, but that doesn't mean that you can't. But anyway, so yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. There are more reasons to that. So first of all, meeting all the people again, it's gonna be amazing. I know that we are gonna have a blast there. It's gonna be just a mix of competition and spending time with people you've known for a long time. Playing the game you do and on a very high level. So it's gonna be just great. I'm really looking forward to that. And obviously, already planned with the others. We have to get some girls. So. We also have some nice competition going on there.
Oh god.
Well, I know Eddie wants to go to a nightclub, so I'm sure he'll be arranging that.
Yeah, okay. I will just follow Eddie because he's like a girl magnet.
Of course. I mean, just follow him around and they'll just sort of fall off of him and land on you.
Oh man, that's what is my plan, man.
Stand close enough and you might just catch one.
Yeah. One is enough. Oh, good.
So tell us. I mean, a lot of questions in the chat about Tinder. You probably got premium. You probably passported to Hamburg. How's it going?
Oh, I'm already setting up everything.
Do you need your own hotel room?
I don't think one room is enough. No, I'm just kidding. It's okay, guys. You know.
Who are you sharing with in your hotel room? Is it Viper?
Of course, Viper.
Oh, he's gonna have fun.
You know, he has done so much to me, so I'll have to give back somehow. And I told him I'm gonna be his wingman. You know, I'm a good wingman.
Nilly doesn't look too pleased because his plan for this weekend is Age of Empires, Age of Empires.
I didn't plan with free time, guys.
No, but obviously, like as I said, we also have the competition going on there. My strategy is obviously get everyone drunk for the next day. Me being super sober, then I'll be fine. No, but you know, this will be a perfect mix of, you know, playing on a high level, competitive scene, and nice coverage. Guess we will have some great casting. We will have some. I know we will have a blast there. I know that, and yeah, it's just gonna be amazing. I'm really, really looking forward to that.
Yeah. I mean, it's a shame, really, because I mean, well, it's not a shame, but like these events are so rare, right? That we all get together. That for me, this event is more about meeting everyone and having a good time. And it's kind of less about the Age of Empires, which I hate to say, because Nilly, I know this is about the Age of Empires for you, and I know that everyone watching at home is going to be all about the Age of Empires as well. But, you know, if we had these events more often, you know, meeting up with JorDan wouldn't be such a big deal. Yeah. But it is.
Yeah, it is.
Well,
but we're professionals, so...
Zach,
we
will wire 10k and I will give you another Nilly's Apartment Cup 2 in a month.
Okay.
Okay. No, but really, also big shout out to Nilly here. He's, you know, organizing, and if it comes to organization, he's been always top notch. I remember in Cologne meetup, he always, you know, in terms of football, he organized everything, and also feels like he's kind of enjoying it, and you know, he's very professional if it's about organizing. So. I know in terms of structuring, Nilly will do it perfectly. And, you know, if you're getting hosted by somebody and you go there and you know this guy knows what he's doing, this guy knows the structure, then I personally always have a very, very good feeling, because I'm very structured myself as well. And I really like those kind of occasions then. So thank you, Nilly, again for setting it up. And you're doing a pleasure for many, many people out there.
Yes, thank you, Nilly. It's very generous of you as well, because you've organized this and set this up before the donations. So arguably, you know, you took a risk with this. But I think deep down, you know, you're doing it for the love of the game, and you know, everyone's really, really grateful to be able to have this opportunity to meet up and play this.
And I'm so in love how in love other people are with this event as well. Like I know. Like Zero Empires, you will come with Killer B, Eddie, Skittle. Then we have another, like, who is coming there? Ivik, Margaret, Bulletin, obviously all the players. Hiko is coming. I just had a meetup of me being 10 years like graduate of school, and I had 3 classmates like that I haven't seen for 10 years coming to me and telling me, Nilly, this apartment cup is going to be awesome. So weird.
Wow. How did they know?
Well, they just randomly followed. They said like, "Oh, I watched Age of Empires," and they mentioned something, so I googled that, and then they told like, and suddenly like that was so weird. We are in the meeting that like we haven't seen each other for 10 years, and suddenly someone is taking out their phone to show the NAC trailer to another person.
And you're like, what?
That was just so nice.
I really love how Age of Empires has started to become more real life over the last couple of years, right? I mean, it started with we had a meetup. Well, there's been a few meetups throughout the years, but I feel like they're getting more frequent, getting to know people better, and everyone's more comfortable sort of spending time together and meeting up face to face.
Exactly, it becomes a kind of normal thing now. To meet every now and then. So
I mean, I remember the first time I met you in the hotel lobby, and I walk in, and the first thing you say to me was, "Wow, you're tall." Nice to meet you, JorDan. Nice to meet you.
And you're like, why does everyone tell me that? Oh, but man, you're tall, man.
Yeah, Killer B was super impressed by that as well, right? Yeah,
By what?
he couldn't stop talking about how tall you are.
Really?
man.
I think Killer B secretly fancies me, so could be something to
Yeah.
do with it.
Kappa Pride.
Killer Bee's just.
Are you sharing a room with him in the apartment?
I am actually sharing a bed with him because we got a very small place since it's very expensive over there and there's not many places left. So
Yeah.
hopefully he'll bring us cucumbers again.
Those what?
Oh.
Some people know that story. For those that don't know the story, Kappa Pride.
Kappa Pride. Okay. Okay. Well, good for you. Hamburg still has some cucumbers left, so even if you don't bring them.
Hey, I'm growing some in my garden. Actually, I could bring my own. That was a good backup plan.
Is that a metaphor for something?
No. I feel like I have to sort of say the story a little bit now, otherwise people are going to get the wrong idea.
Well, you can just announce that you one day talk
One day I'll tell it. Yeah. Okay. All right. We'll do that. It's innocent, honestly. It's all innocent, good fun. But yeah, just funny.
Okay, that's it. Jordan, predictions. Yeah. Who will finish first? Who will finish last? Third, second, third. Fourth, fifth.
So I'll go from top to down.
Mm.
Viper, Larry, Daud, Tato, MBL, me.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay. What can you do to change to your sixth place?
Win some games.
Yeah. How can you achieve to win some games? Like, are you just accepting to get sixth?
No. So there are two things to that. My realistic view and my goal. So goal is to finish fourth. I think that is a spot I can take in theory. Just in a realistic point of view, I would say sixth, yes. And in terms of dreaming, it would be fourth. So I believe in getting fourth, but the likelihood of achieving that will be very slim, I would.
Okay, and if you get fourth, who's finishing fifth and sixth? MBL and
Tato fifth. That just doesn't sound right. Just so high level players. But I would say then Tato or MBL. But now, it's like Larry and Viper for me are for sure top two, and Daud, Tatito, MBL. Yeah, I know it's hard. It's hard, really hard prediction.
Okay, Zach, your predictions.
What Jordan said. No, I think Viper has to come out on top. I think that's a given. No one can touch him right now. Leary's going to come close, of course.
I wouldn't even agree with that. But sorry,
yeah. You can touch Viper, but that's not what Zach is talking about.
I don't mean in the flesh.
Why do you think I'm sharing a bedroom with him?
Touching confirmed. I think Leary could come close. I think MBL could do really well as well. But like you said, Nilly, for Gamescom, he wasn't really very prepared. So that could hurt him. And I think if JorDan does the preparation, he says he wants to finish fourth, I think, maybe above MBL is possible. But I don't want to give a top to bottom list because I think a lot can change. And it's a different atmosphere. It's a different environment playing on LAN.
What do you think, Nilly?
I think it's Viper, Liritato on one level, and then JorDan, MBL, and Daud. I don't see Daud performing too well. I think he will not really prepare too much. He will be drunk quite a bit. He will be late.
Yes.
Every 20 minutes a person is late, you will lose a map. I would be surprised if he's always on time.
What?
I think Daud is going to be very distracted.
Do you think somebody would come too late to a match? That would be so disrespectful. No chance.
I think there's possibilities. Just think about it. Like, if Daud gets, for example, fifth, right?
Yeah.
He has to play on Saturday at, I believe, 1 p.m.
Yeah.
Let me check the schedule again. Yeah, 1 p.m. if you get 5th or 4th in group stage.
Yeah.
If you go Friday evening, if we go heavy drinking with Eddie, Zach, Killer B, all the guys, like there are so many people. Like if we go 15 people clubbing, do you expect Doubt to be at my apartment, has eaten, has thought of a home map, drank enough, went to the toilet to sit
Smoked
out at
shisha.
best of 7?
Yes, especially because Hiko is with him.
So what you're saying here is that Leary's going to have the biggest edge
Yeah, somewhat.
because he won't be able to do these things
Yeah.
on the same level anyway.
Yeah.
You saw what happened to Tyrant in China?
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But honestly, just to throw it out there, they lost because they did not have it. Okay, let's continue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously MBL, I think the nerves will be pretty tough for him. Yeah, I'm a bit. I would have loved to have JorDan against MBL a bit later, and I think it is already even the opening match. So that match is for both players like super important, because if you get 6, you lose your chances to ever get into the money. If you get 5th in the group stage, you could still win the whole tournament. So
Right.
that and MBL JorDan are kind of fighting for the 5th place in my books.
Yeah.
That'll be an interesting battle.
Let us
I
see.
think Viper's probably going to drink. He'll probably have a great time, but I don't think it'll affect his game too much. It was the same at Gamescom as well. Like we went out a couple of nights before, heavy drinking, recovered, and was ready to go.
Well, yeah. Viper just masters this game, so I know I'll have to pull out the big guns for that.
The benefit for Viper is also, I talked to the players and everyone was fine with it, that Viper always has the primetime spot. So he always plays like 21 local time, 22 local time. Like even if it went into heavy drinking, I think he has one like afternoon match only against JorDan.
Yay! No, but you know that makes sense. If you compare it, for example, to tennis, the big guns are always on the prime time. It makes sense.
Yeah, we will have. Yeah. I think he always plays 19 or 20 GMT, except Thursday where we'll have Viper JorDan afternoon and then Doubt Leary, where Zach is already around as well. Thursday evening.
Yeah, I'm there from 12th to the 16th.
Sweet stuff.
If I had to play around 20 GMT, I would be lost anyway. I'd fall asleep at that time. Oh dear.
Okay.
All right. Well, good stuff. Anything else about NAC?
Billy, are you excited?
Yeah, it's like some weeks ago I had some sleepless nights. Always when I came up with another idea. I'm trying to set up stuff here. Obviously, at the moment, this week is super messy for me because I'll just drop everything where it falls down out of my hands. My apartment is a super mess, and I need to do shit ton of organizing. But I bought like 4 cameras now. I bought like 100 meters of extension cables. Bought obviously organized the cooking. We have all the meals, and like there's so much organizing stuff that I still need to do. We will be at Rocket Beans TV. That's all settled, but they want to announce that themselves. So just follow them.
Well, I hope you'll have enough time to chill out and enjoy it yourself.
No,
because I know at Gamescom I hardly got to enjoy the event myself because it was sleepless nights and too much to do. So just make sure you can take some time as well for yourself, because you don't want to let this opportunity sort of pass you by.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm hoping for a bit as well. If players feel like casting themselves, then it's obviously so much more enjoyable for me. If like JorDan and Viper are casting Doubt against Leary.
I love casting, by the way.
Yeah, well then go ahead. That would be lovely. or like
Okay.
Killer B taking some over. Zach promised me to cast at least one series as well. So
Just one.
Okay, just one. Yeah, do whatever,
No. I
whatever.
can do more. I can do
No,
more.
no,
Yeah.
no. Like it's
Yeah.
how you feel. I'm my
'Cause
body.
I want to take this. Go ahead. Sorry.
My body is ready to cast 8 days, 10 hours.
My body is ready. He's putting in the practice now. You see.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Stream
exactly.
week. It's his preparation.
Uh,
But yeah, I mean, my sort of goal out of this as well is I'm going to be trying to get something organized to get a photo studio, and get players out there to take pictures and stuff as well, in the spare time.
Yeah.
So everyone in one place, it's a rare opportunity.
Very good. Some Tinder photos.
Exactly.
doubt even in the chat. I have a serious question. Can I bring Caesar with me?
Oh God! Don't say yes. He will come by
Well,
car. This guy.
Well, Nearly lives above a shisha bar anyway, so one way or the other, the shisha is,
No,
is happening.
that's good. So nearly, Dowd won't come too late because we will be easily to
You
find.
can't go too far from the apartment.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great time, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, going to be so nice. And it's so close as well, right? Like 1.5 weeks only. Sick.
Oh, it's okay.
Sick.
It's happening.
I will never be late with my own shisha there.
He will place it next to
That's
his
true.
computer.
That's interesting statement.
Yep, he can smoke it between games, during
while
games
games.
even.
Yeah. Games, yeah. After clicking up, hopefully he doesn't get
Yeah.
melee. It's too quick.
Give him a short time. Now that will help me with the draft.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's kind of it for NAC. Let's go over into question answer. So, chat, that's your time. Address JorDan, Zach, or me. And
I'll be right back.
Zach will eat a pizza, and we will try to answer the questions to our best possibilities. And Jordan, what's the question that you want to get asked?
So you're asking me now
Yeah.
what question I want to be asked from the people?
Yeah.
That's that's a good one. Wow.
That's how I always end my interviews whenever I do. Like, what question were you expecting to get asked here that wasn't asked?
Okay.
They're always
But
giving you something that you haven't thought of before.
God.
Okay, what do you
So
think
that
about
one-
the upcoming balance changes? Jordan, are you following that at all?
Regarding ECL, you mean, right?
Well, are you in the Discord group? Jordan! We lost Jordan, guys.
Uh-oh.
But he's back.
Is his
Okay.
mic on?
Oh,
Sorry.
Okay.
okay.
With which Discord channel regarding
Okay.
10?
Well,
No,
then I will. Okay. So no answer there. Are you afraid of not getting enough donations? The question to me.
Mm.
Let me take a quick look. Where are we? We are roughly at 4K, right? 3.5. Okay. No. Like, I said to myself, I'm fine if I lose like 2K with this event. Obviously, I would prefer not to. But
Of course.
if I feel like this is one of the most enjoyable weeks of my life and I will be recognized as the guy who did that epic LAN, I would be fine to have some losses. Yeah, but
I honestly,
Yeah.
I honestly don't think people will make you have losses with that. No chance.
I think
You will
people are
bring
understandable.
You will bring so much joy and entertainment to the people, and there are great people out, who will say, "Hey, I want to support this guy."
Yeah.
So I'm sure you won't. No chance.
I have
Yeah,
a
I
personal dilemma at the moment. Someone like
Why?
that I don't know too well said like, I want to be at your place. How much do I need to donate?
Oh,
It's
okay.
not the right.
It's tricky for me.
Yeah, that's tricky. Well, tell them the rest of the prize pool, and I mean, not the prize pool, the donation goal, and then maybe.
It's tricky, but okay. Let's answer some of the questions. I would say.
I saw one.
Okay, go ahead.
Can you give a space time for the next official patch before or after the ECL? So there's going to be a balance patch for HD, and usually, whatever balance patch comes to HD gets put into Wallow Kingdoms, so it becomes like the official balance. We don't know when that balance patch is going to be, but we know what the changes are going to be. So we're going to implement some of those changes, the main changes, into ECL before it starts. So the first round of ECL will have balance changes, and they will be the official balance changes, which will come to HD a bit later on. Announcement this week. Coming soon to AoE Zone near you.
Okay, sweet stuff. Okay, not a lot of questions at the moment, or we missed the first wave of questions. What are the changes going to be? You will read that, guys. We kind of did some hints. I'm not sure if we can really talk about that. You will see it. Will come up.
Korean's deleted.
Korean's deleted, yeah.
I love it.
Towers will get addressed, guys.
Yeah.
Rambai will get addressed. Karambits will get addressed. You will see the changes. It doesn't really help to ask now about all the units. Yeah. How do you feel Slam will fit in Tyrant, as it's been a while since he played with all of you on a regular basis? Good question. John, how will Slam fit into the new Tyrant team?
I think he will be doing fine, as he has experience playing with us. Not too much, but he definitely has. And in terms of personality, we are all kind of equal. So, and Slam is a very chill guy. So I don't see any big issues for him to really be integrated in our team.
Okay, why did you not sign up for Legacy of the Hunts?
Honestly, I checked the prize money and it was not high. And, for me, always participating in tournaments has to have a certain prestige. And I kind of measured the prestige by money. And that's why I didn't sign up.
Okay. Zach, do you think AoE2 DE will bring together the players from Woobly and from HD?
Wow. I think Microsoft probably would like that to happen, but whether or not they can make DE the DE that everyone wants, because in order to do that, right, they have to please everyone. They have to please all the HD crowd, and they have to do something better than Woobly. So the chances of that happening with the current track record,
pic of JorDan giving me a peck on the
I'll just say that. I'll let you decide, right? I hope for the best, but we'll see. We'll see. And by the best, I mean, I would hope to see that one day the whole Age of Empires community could be in one place united. I think that would be the best for the game. But whether or not DE will make that happen, well, I'm kind of doubtful at the moment.
Jordy, what are your hopes?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Okay, AoE2
It's
DE.
like school. It's like school. Oh yeah. I honestly don't see it happening as well, because in terms of communities, we're just very different, and I feel like on Woobly it's more the competitive scene, while on HD it's more the just for fun scene, and I don't see those communities being merged together, to be honest.
Sure. But what if DE had better multiplayer features?
Like what? For example?
Like, I don't know. I mean,
matchmaking systems, stuff like that.
Yeah, like something like this, like proper ladders, like maybe like rating. I don't know. Off the top of my head, let's say like there was instead of an elo, there was like rankings, and then the top people in the top ranking would get a tournament every 3 months or something, and then the ladder would reset. I don't know, like dedicated servers, let's say. All of these things that would really improve and change the game. If DE had that, do you think people would go there from Woobly?
Yes, I think so. But in terms of the quality of the platform, then really has to improve. Like You brought up StarCraft 2 as your motivator in 2011. StarCraft, I played it in the past as well, and they had a perfect matchmaking system as well. And it was very great there. A dedicated service, no lag. People played people on their skill, and it was fine there. And I think if something like that would be also done with Vampires, I definitely see this coming. But also, it must then, be hard to play somewhere else. You kind of have to force people going somewhere. Otherwise, people will always stick around with their comfort zone.
Of course. But I think if they could do that, and I mean, I have no idea what they're actually planning, but if they could do all of these things and not do an HD edition where it's buggy and laggy and the performance is good, then maybe it's the solution. But I don't know. It's going to be difficult because so many people have bought Age of Empires 2 HD already. What are those people going to do? What are they going to get a free upgrade? Like, how is that going to work? Yeah.
But the quality must be top notch. Question about it.
Yeah.
People need to have the feeling to go there by, themselves. They need to have the feeling. Yeah, let's go there. I want to go there. They need to have the desire.
It's tricky because the community is so stubborn. Just think about how many people were against World of the Kingdoms, how many people were against all the balance patches we had before. People from HD still feel 20 minutes to set up something else. I will never go to Woobly. Then they feel I already bought the CD in 1999. Why do I need to buy the same game again in 2018? It's 12 euros. How could this ever be reasonable? So...
But that's normal. That's just a lot of human beings are like that. If you come up with a change, they would say no. If you have an idea, they would say no. Why? Because people don't like changes. They always want to live in their circle, right? And sometimes it's not good to think too much. Sometimes it's just good to say, hey, we do that now. Let's just try it out. If it doesn't work, then we go back. But let's just try it out. Explore a new area.
Could H2DE be free to play?
No idea. I can't see that being the case. I mean, I think, DE is kind of Microsoft acknowledging that HD is not where they want it to be. So we have to at least assume that DE is going to be a lot better than HD. And we also know that Age 2 is the biggest and most popular Age game. So I think we should discount anything from Age 1 DE because it's very unlikely that Age 1 DE is their focus at all. I think if anything, they will focus on Age 2 DE and make that the best they can. And I think ultimately, why are they doing that? Well, it's because they're interested in the franchise again. And I think it really comes back to Age of Empires 4. They want the community, in my opinion, on their side. They want the community to, not have the attitude that they've had recently, which is, Microsoft just care about the money. Microsoft just, they don't care or understand the game, and HD is a mess. So I think they probably want to try and set that right with DE. And if they don't, then that's really going to hurt them. Because this is kind of like their last opportunity in a way. Before Age 4.
How well is Age of Empires 1 DE received?
I don't think that well, to be honest. I think Age 1 DE was disappointing for a lot of people.
Was it?
Mm.
There was no rating system, right? For way too long.
No.
Or is there one now?
I don't even know if it's in yet, but it wasn't on release.
No.
There was a lot of lag issues, a lot of other problems. I mean, it's not as bad as HD was when it was released, but Age 1D wasn't perfected and well polished, let's say.
Yep. But that's kind of the new area.
Terrible
companies.
reviews. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of in a lot of areas like that. Companies just try to rush out their products as soon as possible, try to be the first on the market, and then the quality just is not up there, and they just go for it.
But there's no competition for Age of Empires 1 DE. There's no other company making Age of Empires 1 remake.
I know, but I don't know what happened there. how the project went. Maybe they reached their budget already. Maybe they had a bad project planning. Budget has been reached, and they felt like pressure's on. They have to deliver the product, and then they deliver without the quality being really as they wanted it to be. And you also have to invest resources for that kind of stuff. And I think there's also a lot of things going very bad in terms of project planning there, and those kind of results.
You're probably right, because these projects, it's multiple people coming together, right? You have different forces at work. You've got marketing and like the production people saying it's putting down deadlines. And then you've got the developers of the game who can't quite meet the deadline. They're asking for more time. They're getting told to cut things or like to finish things in a certain time frame, and it just goes on. Now, as far as budget is concerned, I imagine H2DE would have a much larger budget than H1, simply because of the magnitude of the game in comparison to H1.
Yeah.
But I mean, we'll have to wait and see. There's no news about it at the moment.
They actually pushed H1DE back for like 6 weeks or something, because they felt it wasn't really ready. Yeah,
well, I played the beta of H1DE, and then I saw the release date, and I messaged a couple of people there, and I was like, "Well, why would you not push this back? It's obviously not ready. It's a mess." And they said that the head of games had said that they need to get it out because they've had too many delayed releases recently, or something like this. But in the end, they caved in and they pushed it back, and I think it was the right decision. But when they pushed back the release date, all of the pre-orders had to be refunded, and I think that was a big reason why they didn't want to do it. But they did in the end, because they knew that it was a mess and it wouldn't have been received well if they'd have released it as it was.
How does the company come up with the release date? Like
a lot of projections, a lot of projecting, and getting quotes from different people.
Like how? Like feels so random. Like, shouldn't it be like, I know the old days?
It's not really.
When you normally gave like a 3 month span, like early 2004 or something, for that in this game, when I was like into computer games at that point.
Right, but that's how it was at the start. It was like coming in like the end of 2017. Like it was fall 2017, I think. And then when the time gets closer, you have to put an exact date on it so that you can hype it up and get people prepared.
And shops and such. Yeah, I see that. Okay.
Yeah. But, all in all, I think Microsoft have good intentions. And like I said, I think like they understand, right, that Definitive Edition has to be a hit. Otherwise, the community is going to be a bit disenfranchised, and then leading into age 4, people won't be so happy and won't be so receptive toward it. I think that's just that makes sense.
If it costs like $30-40 and isn't better than Woobly, I think so many people will be so mad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they must not.
I don't know. I mean, I think, it's different. H2DE is different to HD, because with HD, there was no contact to the community at that point. It was more like we're re-releasing our back catalog on Steam. And it was very much, what a lot of companies were doing at the time. And then when H2 came out on Steam, I think they were a bit surprised in a way. I mean, maybe they weren't surprised, but it certainly sold a lot of copies, and it maybe got their attention a bit. And then they realized that actually there's a big community here. And in the last few years, at least, they've been more involving of the community. And hopefully they'll take the community's ideas and integrate them into DE.
I really would love numbers on all the selling products, like H1, H1DE, H2, H2 HD. I heard like with expansions included, Steam sold like 3.5 million That's a number that I
Oh,
heard
it's more.
once.
It's got to be more than that. I mean, you can go to the website Steam Spy, and you can go to Age of Empires 2 HD, and it says that there's 5 million accounts that own Age of Empires 2 HD on Steam, according to their website.
Well,
I don't know how accurate that is.
That makes
but,
sense. Then maybe I heard that number a year ago.
But that would be the base game, right? And then obviously the expansions on top of that, which I don't think are counted by this website. But 5 million is a lot of sales.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I don't know how many of that are, the percentage of full price versus discounted versus perhaps free copies, but it's a lot.
Oh, yeah. I can see players, 5.7 million. That's experimental players. Owners, 2 million to 5 million. That's kind of weird. Yesterday, peak 14K. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, actually, even the actual concurrent players on HD has been pretty good. For a while, it declined. If you remember when it released, it was in decline for quite some time. But recently, it's kind of been a lot more stable. And I don't even know, maybe there's even been some growth there. If you go to steamcharts.com and search for Age of Empires in the top right, you can see the historical data of players, concurrent players. And you can see that it's it kind of has peaks and troughs. It's kind of a big spurt and then a little bit of a decrease over time.
Okay.
But right now, there's 7,000 to 8,000 players on average at any moment. Right now, back in 2015, that average was 3,000 or 4,000. So it's nearly double or even double what it was. Right now, today, there's twice as many players than 2013, 14, 15, and early 2016 even as well.
Interesting.
That's just HD, of course.
Yeah, okay. Well, Voobly...
we know that Voobly's grown.
Yeah. Didn't they have like every Sunday was a new peak Sunday, like a year ago?
Yeah,
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. And I think Wallow Kingdoms is obviously bringing more people to Voobly as well. So that's if the numbers on HD are still that solid and Voobly's growing as well, then it's a lot of people.
True. Okay.
But anyway, I think changing topic, there was a question about single queue, multi-queue. JorDan, thoughts on multi-queue?
In general, I think multi-queue is better for the game, as the focus of the game will be more on microing and on strategy execution. And that is my opinion overall for the game. Me as a player, I don't like it because you play with single queue for 15 years and then you have to change from multi-queue. And for example, my playstyle, it's not suited for multi-queue. I have to change so much to get really an advantage of that. So, people will have an advantage over me just by using multi-queue. But that's just the way it is. But overall for the game, I think it's definitely better.
I think, JorDan, you're the only one I've ever seen flushing with 2 archer ranges and having both of them in individual groups.
Yes, and that is the reason, that's why I kind of adopted that kind of playstyle, because I wanted to be able to produce units while microing, and no one else can do that. And, just by doing that, I had a good advantage always in microing my archers, for example, when I was on my highest level. But yeah, that kind of has evaporized now.
Well,
Thank you.
You just need one group now, yeah.
Yeah, I
yeah,
know,
everyone can do that. Yeah.
So it is, everything in your brain is automatic. So, I tried playing around with multi-queue. It's just missing hotkeys because where is my 5, for example. But yeah, it's something you have to get used to.
Probably.
Interesting. I mean, I know it's quite a controversial change and decision. We think that it's, if you look at modern RTS and you look at any new RTS that will come out in the next years, multi-queue is the standard.
Of course.
And I think you've got to look to the future.
Exactly.
I can imagine Age of Empires 4 probably going to have multi-queue.
It's a must.
And
I remember. Yeah, sorry.
yeah, sorry. Yeah, I mean, just to finish real quick, it's basically players are stuck in their ways. Obviously, some players aren't happy about it. It'll give them maybe a disadvantage, but ultimately, it's just the modern way.
It's not giving anyone a disadvantage. It's taking away an advantage that JorDan had before.
Yeah, of course.
Also, two things to that. First of all, we have talked about people, always being reluctant in terms of changes. So that's also a perfect situation for that. You will always have the naysayers. Well, what can you do? Just enforce things like you did. And that's the right way to go. And half in a year, nobody's going to talk about single queue anymore. Second of all, for example, StarCraft 1, it also did not have the multi. And people always played like that, right? And then with StarCraft 2, they introduced multi-queue, and now it's standard. And I totally agree with you. It should be the standard because the game focus should be more on microing, more on the strategic execution, because no one cares about if you're able to, click freaking hotkeys, get your units produced. No one cares about that. People want to watch fights. That's what makes it fun. Nothing else.
So some people were saying that with multi-queue, you don't have to. You can have your screen and your focus on the action a bit more, right? So instead of cycling through your buildings, queuing units, you can actually watch the battle. And some people said that this is going to lead to more hill camping, and people aren't going to be looking away from the battle, so they won't be making so many mistakes.
Which is good.
And I think that's kind of still a bit wrong, because you still have to jump to your TC to queue vills. You still have to.
No. You hotkey them.
You would hotkey the TC. Okay, yeah.
But I don't see why.
But you still have to micro your vills, right? You still have to look at your economy at the same time. It's not like you're just watching your battle the whole time. That's what I'm getting at.
Yes, it is not true. And also, why would the multi-queue enforce the camping the hill more than single queue? That's something I don't understand at all. But I agree that, I actually think it's good that the battles will have more micro involved, because that will even make the microing better. People will figure out new stuff. And it's a change. What the hell? We're in 2018. We need some changes.
I think no one will see the difference. Players will know the difference, but if I show you 10 games, 5 with MQ, 5 with SQ, I bet no one in the world can tell me that game was played with MQ, that game was played with SQ, with a high percentage.
Not yet.
Yeah, I agree.
Because people have not optimized yet.
A casted game. I mean, a casted game. If I watch a record, I can easily tell you if you used MQ or SQ. But if Zero Empires is casting a game with me, JorDan against Viper, a fifth person watching Zero Empires, in my point of view, has no idea if this game was played with SQ or MQ.
If the people know the game very well, they would understand it, because the frequency of how the units are popping out is an indicator. Because if let's say you have 5 barracks and 5 units come throughout a certain amount of time, always in the same frequency, that's an indicator for a multi, right? And if this person knows the game very well, he knows, okay, this must be multi-queue, because if it's single queue, no one would be so precise. No one. Even Viper would not. But the most people would not see the difference. Yes.
Disagreed. If you do like SQ, you might queue up like 4 instead of 5 barracks. And like, it's so tough to see that in the game. Like, if you're watching, like, we are showing the fights as a casters as well. It's like, there's no one sitting there and seeing, what's the production cycle there? I saw 5 barracks. I only hear 4 units produced sounds. That's not how people.
No, most people won't look at it. Yes, only if you know the game very well, you would, get that information.
I think,
and also if you cast, it's you won't see a big difference. I agree.
I think not even 1% of the viewers could spot the difference. And I think most of them won't. Obviously, now I will trigger a lot of people that will sit there and, and I'm expecting, like, in 2 months messaging, by the way, that was clearly multi-queue nearly, and I saw that because of this and that reason.
Yeah, now you have, a certain challenge going on with some people.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I think it's a non-discussion to be had. Single queue, multi-queue, it's been beaten to death by now. And I think people need to just accept it and move on.
Yeah. I think we're going into the right direction there. All good. Okay, I think last 3 questions for Jordan, and then let's wrap it up. We are, near the 2-hour mark pretty soon. So...
I need some food.
Jordan, do you think that globally growing means that the elo will rise even higher? Will someone reach 3K pretty soon?
I don't see that happening. I just don't see that happening. That's something I would not be able to answer now, because I would need to think deeply about that in terms of mathematical science. If more people automatically mean that higher elo.
That's how it works, yeah. Like, the bigger the pool, the higher the rating.
Is it like that?
Yeah, my mathematical understanding it is, yeah.
Okay.
Because there are more points in general.
So Viper's 2K7 is not an achievement because of Viper being good. It's just because there's more points out there.
Yeah, exactly. I think that Viper's 2.7 is a less bigger achievement than Dowd's 2.5 in 2004.
I should try to get 2K7 now. No, but I don't know. Really, don't really have an opinion on that one.
Yeah.
I don't think it matters. I think rating is just a number, and tournaments are where players prove what their real rating is, or their real skill is.
Yeah. But yeah, that's right. I would have said the same. Like, I cannot bother to watch normal recorded games that no one cares about. Like, even if they play on a high level.
I felt like in the past they were more important, but nowadays they're just like, okay, some people are having fun.
Next question to Jordan. Is it allowed to bring girlfriends to the meet and greet in Hamburg? Or should the person be very scared that you will grab the girlfriend off?
Ha! Oh, that's a good one. I can't promise anything. No, I'm just kidding. No, bring your girlfriend if she looks good. And just bring her, man. We will have some good fun. With you, of course.
Oh, you're digging yourself out there.
I can't stop making fun. Next question, please.
Okay, I don't really see a question. So, Jordan.
Speaking of the meetup, Nilly, maybe plug it while we have people here. The meetup that you've organized for your event.
Kind of makes sense. I'm not, like Robo told me today, dude, you're doing a 100 hour stream, and I didn't see you sell out enough. I didn't promote enough. I didn't do that. So maybe, I will put the link in the chat now 3 times. So we are doing a meetup at the 14th of July. That's in roughly 2.5 weeks. You will meet all the great players at Nils Apartment Cup, Zero Empires, Killer B, and all the other lovely people will be around as well. Maybe even some of the Rocket Beans TV guys we will see. And I think I will confirm the location tonight. And just click the link and put yourself in there so that I can know how big the location should be or how many seats I need to reserve. It will be after the placement match. Let me take a look. Saturday, group number 3 against the winner of group number 4 and 5. So potentially I would say something like MBL versus... No. More like Tattoo versus Doubt. I would say Tattoo versus Doubt, best of 7, and then everyone is going to the meetup on Saturday evening. And would be lovely if you would all come. Escape Gaming is paying.
Say hello.
Yeah, so that's going to be lovely for sure. And I think Jordan is in a drinking mood that evening.
No.
Every evening.
What makes you guys think so? Was that a
Because you're
serious
thirsty.
question?
It's your birthday? No.
Yeah, kind of. On Thursday.
No.
Yeah, it's your birthday on Thursday?
Isn't it your half birthday?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Your birthday's
11th.
in December, right?
Yeah, 11th, 7th. Yeah, that's nice.
Mm.
That's always a good reason to celebrate, I heard.
I think so too.
11th, are you kidding?
Half a year older.
11th of December 91. Just looked it up. Okay.
Yep. 2 days
that's
before
not-
Viper, right?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
why I'm always his big guy.
Exactly.
I'm his big brother.
Oh, the cook is just calling me. Good timing. So, John,
All right.
last words for you.
So, first of all, thank you very much for having me in here for this show. I think that's my first time participating.
Hopefully
Second
not
of
the last
all, no, not. Second of all, Zach, as said already, thank you so much for coming up with all the organization with ECL. It's gonna be a blast. Third of all, I don't know if you say that in English. Nilly, also thank you so much for hosting the cup, the Nilly Apartment Cup. Gonna be fun as well. And last but not least, thank you everyone for joining in. Yeah, I'm very sorry for being so inactive lately, but it's gonna be better for sure in the future. And I wish you all a great and pleasant stay with Nilly. He's having a good challenge going on for the next 5 days. Good luck with that.
Thanks.
Don't die before the Nilly Apartment Cup, man. That would not be too good.
No. Take it easy when you can. How's the exhaustion level doing, Nilly?
Let me take a look. Well, I can increase it to the yellow part. I didn't have a good night's sleep. That's ugly.
That's not good. That's rough. But
That's
yeah, thanks for coming on, Jordan. It's always a pleasure, and it makes it easy for us because you talk so much. You have so much to say, and it's good.
Well, that's
Keep it
something
up.
I always like to hear. Okay, yeah, it's a pleasure.
Yeah.
True
All right.
entertainer.
See you in a couple of weeks, man.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, 1.5
See you
weeks.
guys. Zach is
See you guys.
also
Bye-bye.
waving. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
I'm waving. I think we're done.
We're done.
Okay.